Well, if you're a regular viewer of Oklahoma Gardening, you know that Barb Brown has been on maternity leave, and Barb has graciously asked us into her kitchen at home while she's still on leave. Barb, welcome back.
Well, thanks for coming to the house. It's a lot easier to do it here.
I guess. How is the little one doing?
Wonderful. He's a little boy. His name is Parker Joseph, and he's beautiful. His sister loves him.
Great. Well, good. Well, thanks for having us back. I think really she was getting a little, kind of stir crazy. We just needed some social activities here. But Barb, what are we going to do today?
Well, we're going to look at watermelon, and watermelon is something that a lot of us eat a lot of at picnics and places like that, but there's a lot of other kinds of things that you can do with it. So I brought some examples of some different ways that we can use it, particularly as the summer comes to a close, and your own watermelon may not produce until the end of the summer, and people stop wanting watermelon picnics after Labor Day, and so what do you do with all the rest of them? Plus, they get real cheap in the grocery store after Labor Day, too, very often.
True.
So we have a couple of examples. The thing that we're going to make is a salsa with watermelon, and also we have another way that you could use them in place of tomatoes. If you're getting tired of tomatoes on a sandwich or in a salad, you might want to put it on a paper towel for a few minutes and let some of the excess water drain away if you don't like real juicy sandwiches, and then go ahead and just use it anywhere you would a tomato and sandwich.
I know you've got a yellow meated watermelon here too.
Right.
What is the difference? Anything that you want to share?
Primary difference is simply color, so that if you're having a big salad, for instance, or you want something a little unusual, having a yellow one is a little bit fun. It's a lot of fun for kids a lot of times because they're used to the red.
Now, watermelons are really nutritious and a great thing to use as far as weight control, isn't that right?
They're fairly low in calories as long as you're not eating the entire watermelon, and that's the same with anything. If you eat the whole thing, you're in trouble. They're a good source of potassium, vitamins A and C also.
And lots of water, really.
Yes.
Well, Barb, show us what we're going to do with the salsa. Again, that's another unusual one that I don't think people will really think of.
Yeah. Okay, what we've done is we've cut up 1 cup of watermelon. We've diced 1 cup of watermelon, and I'll let you go ahead and just put these in the bowl as we read them down the list. Any kind of watermelon would do. You could use the yellow one. I think the red makes it a little bit more attractive and colorful, however. Also trying to use more towards the center, so it'll be a little bit sweeter, but if you're using a tail end watermelon, add a little bit more sugar to it later on. We also have 1 cup of pineapple. You could use a fresh one if you chose. I used pineapple tidbits. And I cut the tidbits in half once because I want to get everything down to the size it's going to fit on a chip and not sink a chip, because that's the way a lot of people are going to consume them. We then have 1/4 cup of diced red onion, again trying to get everything about the same size. Those 3 ingredients close to the same size will be fine.
All right, now a red onion, is that crucial? I mean,
red onions are not quite as sharp in most instances, so it'll be a little bit better, but you could use a yellow one if you had it, or a Walla Walla if you still have one of those hanging around. Whatever. The red one is again going to add a little bit more color to it as well. Now the next ingredient is something that's real traditional for salsas and almost essential for most of them if you're going to get that traditional taste. What we have is cilantro, and I know you've been growing it in the garden, and you want to tell a little bit about what's been going on there.
We had something interesting. A lot of people aren't aware that we can even grow it in Oklahoma, but we tried some of the cilantro this spring, and we started our own transplants, and you'll remember we did a segment, I guess it's been a few months ago, but some of those seeds have reseeded and are coming up now that it's starting to kind of cool off, and we're keeping them wet, and so we're getting a good flush of growth, and that's what we've brought here even to use.
Well, we've chopped 1½ tablespoons, and you want to use the leaves pretty much, not the seeds, just like parsley. The leaves are fine, but the seeds are not. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. That's a little bit more than you might want to add. That's probably, I'll go ahead and add about half of what's left. I was a little bit generous. Again, amounts on this are somewhat up to taste. We also have 1/2 to 1 jalapeno pepper, diced real small, because nobody wants a big piece of this one, I don't think, or not too many of us do. So we've cut that up in fairly small, and I used 1/2 of a small one because I'm not a real fan of real hot things. Plus, around this house it's going to be eaten by a lot of young kids who are not going to want real hot things either. Then we have salt and pepper to taste. So you're going to have to start doing some tasting if you're doing this at home. And then Tabasco salsa, also to taste. And anywhere from 1 drop. If you don't want anything hot at all, you could actually leave that out. So we'll see if we can get 1 drop of this in there for me. That'll do me. Others of you may need 1/2 teaspoon. That's fine. And then just at this point, again, it would be a good idea to taste it, depending on how sweet the watermelon is. It's sugar. The sugar may be completely optional if you've got a sweet pineapple and a sweet watermelon, or you may need a lot of it. So that, again, you need to taste it to find out exactly where you're at on that. Just blend those together, put them into a container in the refrigerator, and let them blend for several hours because it's going to take some time for all those flavors to mingle and taste real good like spaghetti. The second day would be better.
How long can you store something like this, Barb?
It'll probably keep at least a week. This makes about 2 cups, so if you're not having a lot of people in, you'll need to have plenty, or you'll have plenty for a couple of days.
Okay. Well, why don't you recap the recipe, too? I think this is one people are going to be interested in, and I'm going to taste it while you're doing that.
1 cup of watermelon diced, 1 cup of pineapple tidbits cut in half, 1/4 cup red onion diced, 1 1/2 tablespoons cilantro chopped, 1/2 to 1 jalapeno pepper diced, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, which we forgot to add, Steve, if you'd go ahead and stir that in, salt, pepper, and Tabasco sauce to taste, sugar optional as needed. Combine all the ingredients and taste them, see if you need to adjust the amount of sugar, salt, pepper, Tabasco. Cover and refrigerate several hours to blend the flavors, and then enjoy it either on meat such as chicken or fish or with chips.
Well, Barb, it really is tasty. It's a nice contrast, too. I never would have expected that, and just thinking of the ingredients. And I think this is a good one for the summer to end the summer out, too. So you can get this recipe again at your county extension office if you missed it. And Barb, welcome back.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.